All right. Welcome again. And I am the magistrate, Chaplain Mahdi Sufi Il. And this is another session of our International Interfaith Court, which is affectionately known as our Chaplain's Court. First, I take a reading from our Holy Bible in the book of Matthew, verses chapter 6, verses 9 through 13. As you may well know, and feel free to say it along with me, heavenly, verse 9. And after this manner, therefore, pray ye, Our Father, whom art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thou art the power and the kingdom. For thou art the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Let me say that over. Verse 13. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. All right. Welcome to our Chaplain's Court online session. These are video affidavits we're doing here today, a follow-up. And just so you know, I'm the founder of the Alternative Family Court here in the United States of America, uh, territory, North America, and it's called the Interfaith Court. We affectionately refer to this as the Chaplain's Court because you get the chaplain of your choice to handle your family court needs. We have branched out to helping families who have criminal cases in the last 3 years, as we have been doing outpatient therapy on family wellness, marriage counseling. And these outpatient therapy sessions, just so you know, have helped a lot of families and a lot of brothers and some sisters stay out of incarceration because we are an official therapy service case management um, that has a NPI number. And we started this court back in 2013 CE, and it was started out of the Criminal Justice Center, the largest courthouse in Philadelphia at the time. And we served there for 2 years. I served there on the bench for 2 years. And then fast forward in 2022, I also graduated as a judge, as a magistrate at the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, at their training for magistrates, right there in the capital of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, at the Minor Judiciary Education Board. I like to give high honors to all the heavenly hosts who surround the throne of Almighty God, uh, Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, and all of the angels that we have that has supported us and all our righteous ancestors. And this is another session we are having as a follow-up to one of the good folks and families down there in the Maryland Corporation territory in so-called Princess Anne County. And I am bringing her back on the line. And we have Sister Shalonda, who is advocating, we're advocating on behalf of her son, Hassan Williams. Just so you know, whenever we have cases that originate in our interfaith court, meaning that folks find out about us and they actually elect us to hold the court session, then we can avoid those types of situations with family courts and stuff. But in the criminal court situations, it's very key that the families reach out to us whenever the first sign of legal problems happen so that we can do what they call nipping it in the bud. We're going to have character references today from the family and the friends of Hassan Williams, who is 16 years young. All right. And without the further ado, I'm having Sister Shalonda, Londa. How you doing today? To God be the glory.
Thank you. Good evening. God be the glory to you as well.
Yes, sister. So yeah, I looked reviewed the previous video affidavit, the intake session, and I meditate on it, I prayed on it, and I talked to your colleague, and we are our hearts are going out to you, our minds, and we put the best minds. I talked to some brothers in Philadelphia, and we are all on board to assist you in your effort to protect your son, but also to advocate on behalf of all those children down there who you, like you
Yes.
said, the passion and compassion that you have for the other children besides just your son is amazing. And
Mhm.
I commend you for that. And
Thank
today we are doing this video affidavit because portions of this will be put on his record. And also, we will have written portions that are actually notarized. And so, if you would just give us a recap of the facts of the case, if you have a bullet list of what has occurred, and put dates in there if you do have them.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. I am Shalonda Coles, Hassan Williams' mom. We're coming back with this information about my son. Occurred around or about April 28th of 2025, where my son was arrested at school. That would be a Monday. Um, I would not know that my son was ever arrested by the arresting officer, the school district, the sheriff's department, the police department. No one called me. um,
Hmm.
this incident would have occurred on the Friday, which would have been 27, 26, the 25th, where UMES was hosting a festival. So a lot of kids were out. This is something that they hold yearly. My son happened to want to come home. And in him coming home, there was an incident where he met up with another young man that goes to the same school. All the kids know him. Regular child's play, tapping, what some of us call slap boxing or shadow boxing. And then somewhere along this play comes another child from the community, and uses a weapon. They charge my son with this weapon as attempted murder as well as robbery. Um, I've been asking, among other charges as well. So the incident itself, as mom, of course, I would want to know where the evidence is that is keeping them detained, to let the people know. Not only did they arrest my son at school and didn't notify me properly of doing so and detaining my son, they also placed him in Somerset County Adult Detention
Hmm.
Center
Right.
for five
So
weeks,
wrong.
solitary confinement.
Solitary confinement. Wow. I'm glad
Mhm.
I asked you to pull out the facts because I don't think I heard that before.
Yep.
Now, let me ask
They
you before you go forward with the bullet
mhm,
points, the affidavit of fact. Now,
mhm.
for the record, today is Saturday, so-called July 5th, 2025 CE, and state your name for the record.
Shalonda Coles.
Shalonda Coles, and you're the mother of Hassan Williams, 16-year-old, and his birthday,
I am. His birthday is 1/16/09.
okay, 1/16/09. All right. And what was the weapon that was used in question in the assault?
The weapon that was used was a baseball bat
Hmm.
that my son did not bring to the scene. The victim themselves had this weapon.
The victim.
Yes.
So would I imagine, what happened? They got taken from the victim. All right.
From what the facts that I gathered, it seems that way. Turn your microphone off. From the facts that I gather, at some point the weapon was in the book bag, and then the book bag comes loose, and I guess the weapon is free, and then There's another child that walks up. I still haven't seen the video, everybody. We're going on almost 2 months. Everybody else has seen it. I have yet to see this video that is so incriminating while my son is being detained. But at some point, this weapon comes loose, and this other child, not Hassan, grabs this weapon and starts to assault the victim. From what the people who have seen the video, at least our attorneys, public defender, Miss Simpson in Somerset County, said that clearly Hassan was not the aggressor in this video. That's what was said to me without me seeing the video.
So you didn't see the video yet, and the public defender did not provide it yet.
Correct.
Okay, and what's the public defender's name, by the way?
She is Miss Simpson. I believe her first name is Lisa. Don't quote me wrong on that. Public defender is last name is Simpson with Somerset County Public Defender's Office in Princess Anne. And then I believe the judge is Daniel. I have to look at my notes. But yes. So no, I haven't seen the video. I haven't received any of the exculpatory evidence, any of the discovery packet, and what they're using. Well, the video will be part of that. But it's clearly been seen because in the charging documents, the police officer describes seeing the video. And what the police officer describes seeing, he basically names Hassan as being the aggressor, but he's not the aggressor. And then they also described, basically they said that the victim said Hassan's name, allegedly. And so that was the reason for them to go and get Hassan, besides them seeing the video.
But they did not tell you when they arrested him. How long did it take him to get bailed out?
He never got bailed out. He got arrested on a Monday. He had a bail review on a Tuesday. I was not present. I was not notified of that as well.
Yes. Yeah, I remember from the last time. So they illegally and unlawfully and unethically failed to reach the parent for actual bail hearing.
Mm-hmm.
So did they have the bail hearing?
They did. They denied it. And that's how it stayed. He remained in custody.
All right. Now, is he in custody now?
He is.
Is he in solitary confinement?
He is not. He is in a youth facility. However, he is not on the juvenile side. He is on the adult side of the juvenile facility being held.
Oh, he's on the adult side of the juvenile facility. So,
Yes.
Is there any previous encounters with the arresting and the kidnapping officer?
Not that I know of. You know why? Because I don't even have the officer's name.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't believe
So
so.
that's amazing. So we are going to probably request that from the public defender, and we would like you to provide our court with the actual information, and send it to us via email or inbox us. And now you have on today a few of his friends and family, and I would like, for the record, a little statement from them, a story, and we'll start with you. Give me a little story or a time, something that shows what Hassan's character is. Is there any memorable moments in education and in sports or at home with his siblings that displays his character and the type of young man that he is? And for those who are waiting and poised to come on, just meditate on that. What are some of your fun times, and what is some of the righteous qualities and that you have memories of Hassan?
All right. So for me, my son is a very jovial kid. He loves to play around. Since he was about 4.5 years old, this kid could tell me nothing else he wanted to do besides play football. And since then, he has done a tremendous, he's a very agile athlete. That is his motivation. It motivates him to do the right thing. In school, you will hear teachers saying that Hassan is helpful. At home, Hassan is the protector. Hassan is
Mhm.
going to make sure that everybody's okay. The groceries, opening the door, he's going to do that. If you left something, he's going to go get it. Hassan is he's a very laid back kind of kid. I would say, like most of us, we don't like when we're messed with and we're gonna tell somebody, and that's all that's Hassan. Um,
And he
Other than
plays
that, his
sports, correct?
he does. He's been playing football since he was about 8 years old. Played in Trenton, New Jersey. He came back and played in Maryland on two different leagues with the Youth League, and then he went and played with the Falcons, and then he also played with the Washington high school football team. He's also been invited to multiple showcases, literally since this little boy has been gone. The emails don't stop. They don't stop. The coaches want him. They're like, "Where's Hassan?" I'm like, "Just give me a second. Let me see what I can do." But yeah, that's Hassan in a nutshell. He likes his video games. He loves hanging with his friends. Everybody knows that. With his sisters, and that's who Hassan is. His aunties, they call Hassan when they need yard work done. My sister, a couple of years ago, had all the trees in her backyard cut down, probably about a quarter acre of land, and most of that yard cleared of trees. Well, as the lumberjacks were cutting and slicing the trees into loggable stacks. Hassan was under his aunt's deck and logging them, like, and not just throwing them under there. They were neatly stacked, and like you would expect a grown man to lay the logs in the barracks that he had them sat in. Yeah,
Now,
that's Hassan.
we're going to come back to you, but we want to ask some of your guests. We have Miss Audrey here, and who's Audrey to Hassan?
That's Hassan, one of his twin sisters, older
Ah, twin
sibling.
sister, older
Uh huh.
sibling. All
Uh
right.
huh.
Well, we would like Sister Audrey to come to the stage. And hi, how are you doing tonight, Audrey?
Hi.
Oh, it's good to hear your voice. And so, are you Hassan's oldest or older sister?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, we glad you're here. Honors to you for coming out. And this is very important because they have a lot of paralegals and all these attorneys and a whole basic support system whenever they railroad our people. You know that. So it takes just a little bit of unity from our community, especially when someone is being, overly charged. We really just strive to get the word to the judge that there's more eyes on it than he expects or she expects. And so we usually have a great outcome whenever the families are in support, present, and actually strategizing together. So, Audrey, what is one of your favorite memories of your brother doing, things for you, your siblings, or any uplifting acts you noticed him do in the community?
Um, my favorite memory is going to his football games, and because he loved to play football, so I love going to see him play. He loves helping out people, and he always asks for help when he needs help and stuff like that.
Okay. Now, is this something where you know him as an angry kid?
No, absolutely
Oh,
not.
okay.
No.
So yeah, how was he when you were helping to bring him up? Because I know as the older sibling, you have a lot of responsibility, whether it's placed on you technically or not. It just comes with it. Um, you know, how you see him playing with his friends out in the community? What would you say is his general temperament?
Calm, nonchalant. So, yeah, he's very calm most of the time.
Do you know the friends that he was hanging out with that night?
No, I don't know very much about him. No.
All right. Well, we are happy that the sister came in because that is great. And we're going to keep you on standby because we want maybe you to send some information out, just participate in small with the process, as you know, as court cases coming up. So we thank you for that. Now, who is Shira? Lana, Shalonda.
Tashira is Hassan's girlfriend. Um, they've been dating for the last couple of years. She's very supportive, as well as her mom, in terms of if there's a court date or hearing that they can get to, her mom definitely supports bringing her, and supports Hassan and my family as well. So to Shira, if you can hear us, unmute yourself.
Hi.
Hi, Shira. How you doing?
Good yourself.
I'm coming on. I'm blessed by the best, and I'm coming to pass the test. You see, just so you know, we have been successful quite a bit whenever we can get a team of lovers and family members of the person who's being attacked.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Just know we've been to courtrooms and we've had one person or two people, the things that can make you win a case are often not these legal mumbo jumbos because we know that they are actually basically bullying him and teaming up on him and just doing nefarious things to the young folks there.
Yeah.
So once you get this style down pat and you will begin to be able to, support each other in that route. We went to court cases in Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, and area, and I didn't say a word in the courtroom, but I composed a team. And we had one person outside with the video camera, and we just interviewed random, so-called randos coming out of the court, and we asked them great questions about how did they feel about the issue at hand. We did so much work outside that courtroom. They had to let the person listen. They gave the person a smack on the wrist. And the judge even changed his tune. So yes, the judge changed his tune, and I would have loved to have my good colleague, brother David Pitts from Pittsburgh, and a couple others on the line, and I'll strive to bring them on another call, and they'll let you know they gave them all kinds of assault charges, and it was so racial, and they want to throw them under the bus, and they want to bury them, but they said to me, they said, Chaplain, you know, where's all the paperwork I know that you normally have when I showed up in Pittsburgh? I said, oh no, I brought a movie camera. I got I got my paperwork too, right? I got that, I'm art, but we're going to put on the whole shield and whole armor of God, you see, and exercise a lot of our options. Now, Shira, how long have you been with Hassan? And
Okay, so basically we started like talking like when he first came down here, like I don't know how to explain. I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous. But
oh, that's okay.
like the first time I seen him, he just kept bothering me, and I was just like, nah, I ain't gonna talk to him. And then like he just kept, then we just started talking a little bit, and then like we talked for like a whole year before we even started dating, and then yeah, just went on from there.
Wow. Okay, great. So have you noticed him being temperamental? How's his general sentiment with you? Is he an angry person? Is he what is
Oh
he,
Lord.
quick to anger?
No, but he definitely do not like being picked on. Like he definitely don't like when people mess with him. Like he's not a person that picks on people, but like when you pick on him, it's like he tell you to stop a couple times, but he do not want you to pick on him. Like he don't like being messed with.
Got you. All right. So that's excellent. Now, do you know his friends or do you know some of his football buddies? Have you been to the games at all?
To be honest, I don't really know his friends, and I'm glad that I don't, because I don't really want to, like, them is his friends. I don't really want to know them for real, because they his friends. Like,
Well, we want to talk to you offline with his mother so that we can get you to help out in some capacity. If you just tuned in, this is our video affidavit and our character, which is our character reference portion of our video affidavit for Shalonda Cole and her 16 years young son, Hassan Williams, who has been supremely overcharged by Maryland Corporation, Princess Anne. And what's the name of the court, by the way, Shalonda? Do you know the name of the court?
oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Okay. Can you hear it now?
I was muted. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Somerset County Circuit Court and Somerset County District Court. It was filed in District Court first, what would have been the juvenile case. And then, so the attorney in that case, Mrs. Catherine Savoy, allowed all of the hearings that Ms. Coles were not present for. That was the juvenile side of it. She allowed, that attorney allowed all of that for us to progress this far. The new one, not very trustworthy. However, I can step in and say that she has done something. She hasn't done enough, but she's done something.
Yeah. Well, we have to do these things for ourselves, and I am so eager for just smiling on the horizon as the young folks are starting to pick up, the energy that they can do this. You see, because they're attacking hordes of young people and over criminalizing our young folks. And what we're doing is training up the young people. We have our first responders unit called Boondock Saints. And we train up y'all Boondock Saints. We put them little YNs, put the uniforms on them. And let me tell you, okay, for lack of a better word, and we putting the uniforms on these young folks, right? And giving them the civic training and giving them the information so that they can actually, deal with these police encounters and plus also get paid. Because we got to get paid when they put their hands on us. We got to get paid when they, abuse them, molest our rights and all of that. So, we have to team together. We need all hands on deck. But we have seen an upsurge of young folks now learning about the Constitution of the United States, learning about their state constitution, and learning that there's a difference between legal and lawful. Inside your chest, there's something wrong, but they're using the legal system, and you have to know how to combat that with just a couple pieces of paper and a few strategies. You know what I'm saying? And so we are looking forward to if any one of you all want to do a weekly or a monthly class so we can arm the young folks and their parents. But the young ones is not scared, and they don't have nothing to lose except their freedom. So, we're excited about the young folks who coming on board, and when they go off and they start pushing that paper, it's a whole new day coming. So we appreciate you, Shira, for your testimony there. And we have Joy. And who's Joy?
That's probably Mark's sister. Joy, is that you?
And Chauncey.
Chauncey, that is Hassan's older brother. You probably want to call on Chauncey.
Okay, Chauncey. Let's come to the stage, Chauncey. How you doing there? Are you there?
Yes, good afternoon.
All right, good evening. All right, Chauncey. Now, this is younger brother. How old are you, by the way?
That's the older brother.
24.
I mean, I'm saying we're talking about his younger brother, I meant.
Oh, yes.
So you're 24. Now, like, what is your brother best known for in the neighborhood with amongst his friends?
Amongst his friends, my brother is best known for being the person who's going to help you out no matter what type of situation you're in. You need help taking the groceries in, even though he don't live there, he got you. You need help fixing your bike, he got you. You need somebody to walk with you to the store, he got you. You in some trouble, you need somebody to mediate, he got you. He's that type of friend. That's what he's known for. That's why everybody in the community, from the younger people to the older people, like and respect him so much.
Have you ever known them to use, assault weapons and bats and all of that?
Definitely not. And to that point, um, my brother has never even really been an aggressive type of person. Like what most
Aha.
people have said today, he just doesn't like to be messed with. And if anybody can tell you who Hassan is, I feel like it would probably be me, because he shares a lot with me. And I've been there to kind of teach him how to be a man, essentially, if you know what I mean. Um, and there was a point in time where Hassan was the person getting bullied, and he couldn't understand why. And he needed to be taught how to stand up for himself. And I think it's because of those experiences that now that he knows how to hold his own, he doesn't like to be bothered at all. But to the main
It's
point of what I was trying
understandable.
to say, I think it's also because of those experiences that he's so willing to help and protect other people. I can name a bunch of instances where I've seen him and heard of him from other people and himself go out of his way to help protect someone else, where he could have easily just stayed out of it.
Mm. All right. So what is going on as far as in town in Princess Anne? Uh, is the police force, are the Romans out there, are they always harassing people? Do they profile people? Are they locking people up around election time? Like, what is the general temperature of the district there?
So what I will say is that my time in Princess Anne was limited, um, for a lot of different reasons. Um, and it does have a lot to do with the police. It has a lot to do with the lack of
Mm.
opportunity and so on and so forth. My general understanding, although limited, is that the police aren't necessarily um, harassing, but if given the opportunity for any reason to investigate anything, whether it's a child being a child, an adult doing something they're not supposed to do. I mean, anything from the smallest of what are you doing to whatever else big they may end up finding themselves in.
Mm.
Because I know I've personally been stopped a few times. Literally just walking to the store down the street. A lot of people from the area know the Price Cutters is connected right to a neighborhood, and it's not far from where we reside, and so on and so forth. Um, and then from talking to my brother, they definitely know who he is, and it would appear that, again, if given the opportunity, they are absolutely going to try to see or try to make it into
Make
something
a
if need be.
contract, we call it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what
And
we
an
call
example
that
of that
in
would be,
law, what that's called in law, they call that conversion, just so you know. Because they're always going around, it seems lately in the last, 30 something years, and even longer, but let's just say, let's just talk about the modern era. They're always doing what we call converting your rights into a crime, or and seeking to contract with you, because writing tickets and arresting people is the only way they get paid. And it's somewhat similar to the doctors who get paid off of, prescribing medicine you might not need or might be harmful to you, but they want a contract all the time. What that is called, and also in law, is solicitation. So they're soliciting all the time there. That's what I'm gathering. They're not necessarily running down for stop and frisk, but anything they see, oh, stop and frisk. Okay, now we got you.
Either
So
that or it's escalating. It could be something so small, but depending on who you are, they're going to escalate it just so they can hold you like that.
Now, just to give you an example of contracting and solicitation, because when you hear somebody say no solicitation, what do you think?
You can't
Londa.
advertise, you can't sell. You can't advertise,
Right.
you can't sell.
Right. Okay. Now imagine, and when do they usually say no solicitation, though? And when do they
Usually in
usually
front
use
of a
that?
storefront, a commercial business.
And you might not be selling something, but you might be doing what?
You might be peddling yourself. You might be getting your money.
Begging.
Oh, okay.
I want you just keep it
They don't want
real,
their
because
franchise to look different.
what I'm saying is they use these terms one way, but I have to mention it to you so whenever you learn a term well, you could use it in another way right back on them. So this is why I'm saying keep it real like that. When they say no solicitation, they're not usually talking about just like big business or something. It's usually somebody what?
That asking for money, asking for something. They don't even have to ask for money. They're asking for something.
And what word did I use?
Begging.
All right, let's stay there with it. So they're begging, right? So I remember years ago, probably 20 years at this point, and Montgomery County, Pennsylvania Corporation is one of the more racial corporation counties out there. They're the one that actually prosecuted Bill Cosby, and they're one of those counties that they didn't let no so-called black people get off of nothing, jaywalking. They make it up. You was jaywalking. Very terrible county for our people. So I got a traffic ticket I didn't pay, and they put a warrant on me. And I don't live in that county. I didn't get the mail or anything to even know they were wanting me to come to court. But they put a warrant on me, and then so the constable. This is very important now. The constable came to my house in Philadelphia, and I didn't answer the door. I answered the door, and I told him, "Well, I don't really do business in person." He said, "What?" I said, "Well, I'm not answering the door. I'm not opening the door, sir, because I'm having tea." He said, "You're having tea?" I said, "Yeah, I'm busy having tea, and I don't do business in person. But for sure, if you call my secretary or you call, my wife, either one, and they'll set up an appointment with you, and then we could talk." So they were flabbergasted and they left because why? I understand that they're just doing
their job.
No, this ain't.
Oh,
That's
they
not
were
their job.
soliciting. They were. I get it. They were begging you for information. They
No,
wanted you
not
to come and
information.
tell them something.
No, solicitation means trying to get a contract, trying to sell something.
They was trying to sell you yourself. Because
They was trying to sell me they was trying to sell me on the idea. Listen, they're trying to. You know how somebody in the hood or on a blog or anywhere, and they say, "I ain't buying what he's selling." Okay, let's stay there.
Okay.
So they got a warrant, but they're really just begging me because they want me to buy into their BS as if they're right.
Right.
But I ain't buying what they selling. So what happened was, say it again.
That's going to become a problem because, of course, they don't like that. They feel like you are undermining their authority.
Right. So a month later, they called me on the phone. The prosecutor. Right. The prosecutor called me on the phone and he said, "We sent the constable out there and he said, you never opened the door. And, you got to come turn yourself in." So guess what I told this prosecutor to make this warrant go away over the phone?
Tell me.
I said to him, "Excuse me, no solicitation. I don't want any." He said to me, "What do you mean solicitation? It's a criminal case." I said, "No, sir. I don't know, whatever you call it, whatever type of thing. I have the United States Constitution to protect me, and I ain't do nothing to break that. So I don't care what your state or county is talking about, because The law, even in the Pennsylvania and Maryland Constitution, it says that they can't go against the U.S. Constitution, which they do every day unless you call them on it, by the way. So I said, listen, I don't care what you're selling. I'm not buying it. No solicitation. Then he tried one more time and said, sir, you're getting me very upset. I told you this is not me trying to sell you anything or contract. I just, you just have a warrant. I said, sir, you are from what office? He said, I'm from the prosecutor's office. I said, they just made that up, sir. He said, what you mean? I said, what did they call the prosecutor's office for the last 100 years in America? What is the name of the prosecutor's office for the last
The
100 years in
Attorney
America?
General, isn't it? That's no. What?
The city solicitor.
I never knew that. FYI.
This is what I'm trying. This I had to make the long story long. This is deep. Once you get this stuff, listen, my warrant went away on the phone. I said, sir, the prosecutor's office, that's what y'all just start calling that stuff 20 years ago. Some whoopty goddamn do. The United States of America been around 200 something years. What is the name of your office for real? He said, what is it? I said, the city solicitor. He said, and then I said, all right, so I don't want any. I'm not buying. So solicitation. I treated them. Now we love our brothers and sisters, but I treat them like a Jehovah's Witness. He said, no solicitation. I don't want none. So they took my warrant. They took my warrant away. Poof, be gone, because they didn't want to box with me with that level of understanding. They don't want to see you in person because I trapped him. You see, I trapped him into it. So he don't want to see me in person because I'll let him talk himself right into a corner. So it's important as we advocate that we take some pointers so we can, you show that courtroom, some of that stuff, not aggressively, but just in thought and in words, and it may go very far for you and far for Hassan in his remedy. All right, so just what I wanted to get just a little hint at. Can we hear from Helena? Who's Helena? Helena, are you there?
Yes.
All right. How you doing, Helena? And what is your relationship to Brother Hassan?
I'm one of Hassan's older sisters.
All right. So give me a little story about Hassan that your mom didn't say, and that your brother didn't say, that you remember that is favorable for him, that shows his character.
When we were younger, me and Hassan would go and climb the hills in our neighborhood that would lead up to like the woods, and we'll like just play there, or sometimes at night we would go outside and play fight in the yard. And yeah, those are like my two favorite memories.
All right, that's good. And you and pretty much as far as his scholastics, did you have to help him with homework a lot? Is he studious? How's his school thing, as far as you know?
Yeah, he will come to me a lot and ask me, can I help him with his schoolwork and stuff? And I'll help him, and I would be like, you have to do this yourself, but I'll help you try and understand this,
Have you ever known him to get in this much trouble?
No.
Yeah, see, and they're over criminalizing our young people when they're giving 20,000 slaps on the wrist to Eminem and everybody, James, Jimmy Dean, Rebel Without a Pause, So they are, causing these crises and also these hardships. And so while medical trumps legal, just so you know, in the United States jurisdiction, so his medical issues supersede his legal issues, just so you know. So if there's a way for us to place him into our therapy sessions, and his public defender will have them present that to the court and present our information to the court. We've done that all 2020, 25, And people that was supposed to go to jail for a minute, a year or two, they ain't been locked up yet. Swear to God Almighty. And they keep pushing their cases back, and they just, when they're losing, they stall and they just say, come back 3 months, and you go back, come back 3 more months. Okay, come back 3 more, and then they drop it after the third time. And so we've been keeping them in mental health therapy, anger management, parenting classes for some folks that doing a family court thing. So keep that in mind as we approach Monday. That I will be forwarding to your mother and to the public defender on our chaplaincy information, and we're being family advocates for you guys. And we refer to ourselves as angel advocates, mainly because they're the ones being devil's advocates. And we don't do that, right? And so it's important for you all, because you all seem very classy as a family, by the way. And are you having any thoughts, Londa, that you and your intelligence and your children's obvious intelligence? I mean, Chauncey sounds like he's about to run for office. And do you think there's any retaliation? Because retaliation is a big word there legally. Is there anything going on with them targeting, like Coach Prime, Shador Stevens? They done went 5th in the draft pick.
They did.
And everybody in the back, at the end of the day, they like, listen, it ain't even about Shador. They just hate Coach Prime. Deion Sanders, prime time.
Yeah.
So
that's
is it something? Have you helped too many people there, Shalonda? I mean, like, are you being up there? Are you being Jesus's niece out there?
Kind of, sort of. I mean, I got out here. I never worked the neighborhood. All of my small business owners, I know most of them. My people in the neighborhood, I tried to get all of my stay-at-home moms to go choose one of my career paths, either as an EMT, insurance provider, securities, just to do something. If you're at home here, I have avenues to kind of help people. When I'm out there with Mark Ballard, when we're in the community and he's on the, he has the microphone in the video, we're always promoting like just us awareness. And I'm always on top of the kids in the neighborhood. Whenever they see me, they already know, Miss Londa, there she go, y'all better straighten up. Oh, Miss Londa, you got a couple of dollars, we want some popsicle, whatever. That is me. Everybody, the kids know that they could come here. We talk about business and how I can make the community better. Let me make sure that everybody has a life insurance policy. Let's make sure that we cover with a proper health insurance and things of that nature. Other than that, I didn't do anything. Now, I don't know. I feel like
they didn't turn you into Sister Soldier. They didn't make it like you Sister Soldier.
I'm coming. I'm on that wavelength now. I'm on that wavelength now because
they didn't got you there now.
Yeah, I've seen
enough. That's what I'm saying. So you mean to tell me
these kids?
You and Mark is out there doing basically entrepreneurialism plus community outreach and a little bit of activism.
Yes.
Little bit of gospel, a little bit of hip hop, and a little bit of, what I'm saying? So now, have you gotten approached by anybody there with bad energy or insults, or has anybody side-eyed you? What have you noticed about you?
The only bad energy, I'm gonna be honest, the bad energy that I received from Somerset County is not from my neighborhoods, it's not from the community. It came from the Board of Education, Washington High School, Somerset Intermediate Middle School, and it came from the police department out here. Your county doesn't have proper education or curriculum to actually educate anybody. And this is real tough news because it's actually in black and white in Somerset County Times. The kids at the Washington High School, the journalists at that school, the media kids, they wrote their own article, and it wasn't just one article. It was like it was like 4 different articles based on the same thing. The AP kids said that they thought that the AP classes was a joke. They felt like they weren't being challenged. You have the IEP kids or special education kids who don't have proper staff members. Was nobody certified. The whole time I've been here in Somerset County, there was no special ed teacher nowhere in none of these schools, except for Somerset Intermediate, but that was like the severe spectrum of mental health, not the moderate or the mild side, which where kids just need extra help with how they learn and to change the classroom or the environment to cope with the way that they learn, extra breaks, whatever. Somerset County has never been able to authenticate that learning plan that my son came here from New Jersey with. And that is all substantiated by the Maryland Disability Rights of Maryland. Ms. Megan Berger, shout out to you. If we need those notes, she definitely has them.
Okay, that's great. Now, did you happen to tell them that what your thoughts are like that?
I did.
Okay. So you were
We just now
vocal
started getting
about
somewhere.
your standards.
Yeah, very.
Do you think that they think that you're uppity, as
I
they
think
used to
that
say?
I think they may think that I was maybe a bit of a problem, because you got to deal you got to think about I'm in a county or a city where people don't know where to go and don't know how to use certain resources. So a lot of times people just give up. And then you run into a parent like me that's like, absolutely not. Your job is to educate my student. I need you to do that. And so then when you can't educate the student, what happens? The kid starts to get in trouble because their brain is not engaged. They're no longer in the
all the
stance where,
smart children, all the smart children, all our children, they get labeled as ADHD, ADD just
yep,
because their mind's working
it.
faster and the teachers can't keep up,
They
and the
can't keep
teachers
up.
don't know. And a lot of
What to
times the
do?
child is the younger children now, they're so smart that
Yes.
everything, without even knowing the facts, they just know everything you just said is just BS. And so
Yeah.
I just want to have, they just like this. I just want to have fun over here in class. Hey, oh, you ain't talking
Right.
nothing over there. But
Yeah.
it's so they label them, give them IPs and all of this. But it might be like Coach Prime. It might be like Deion Sanders situation
Mhm.
where you, the parent, are so strong that they're picking on your child. It sounds like that.
It feels that way. Definitely feels
Yeah.
that way.
And so what we need to do is off grid talk about it. We need one person or two on to hold their iPhone 14s and do a little bit of interviewing outside the courtroom and all of
Mhm.
that. I'm gonna give y'all a little strategy. I'm gonna call y'all and give y'all some juicy stuff.
Okay.
And we need all hands on deck to do little small things, because if it happens to him, it can happen to the next brother. He had
And
his friend.
that's where I'm at. That's exactly where I'm at, because I've heard the stories. I have at least two girlfriends who, one of their kids, they really sentenced that little boy at 16 years old to 30 years. I'm not going to talk about his charge, but at 16 and as a child, I'm not too sure if I care what the kid did. I just way too overboard. And that's what I'm saying. It's not that the kids should not be punished. It's not that they should not learn a lesson. Down, it's the over punishing. But you have no regard to how are you going to help them beforehand, during, and afterwards. Y'all not putting any of those pieces together. You just like, okay, we can't educate them. We'll kick them out the classroom and put them in prison. That's where they at. Period.
They don't know what to do with them, and they want them to go down because everybody's paycheck is based off of that revolving door.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's paycheck is based off that revolving door. And so, but when you have opportunities like this to solve it for yourself, what it usually does, and that's why I'm leaning in so hard with this, is because it'll basically help every young person in that neighborhood and in that county, you see, because once we team and do this for Hassan, any of Hassan's friends, any of his siblings, and we're not spreading ourselves so thin, but whoever's in our network that we can take care of. You see,
That's what we're
and
gonna
as we
do.
get more parents to come on, then we can take on, others. But
Yes.
this is what we
Because
have
it's
to
some more.
do. Yeah, we have to
It's
do this.
definitely
We
some
have
more.
to arm ourselves with this. And we may have to put a federal lawsuit together in the meantime.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I've had situations. I mean, I have to use myself sometimes, as an example, just so you can understand. Like, it's really deep.
Hmm.
You know, my children, my oldest daughter is 25,
Okay.
but I had experiences with family court back in 2002.
Hmm.
What did I do when they wanted to put a warrant? We don't do that stuff. I said I'm about to sue y'all in federal court.
Hmm.
I
Sound
sent
good to
them
me.
I sent them the top sheet of the federal court filing that I put on their behind.
What they say? Never
They canceled
mind.
that warrant.
What you want
They
to say?
can't.
Yeah.
They said we don't want to lock you up. I said, are you sure? Because
Hmm.
I'm
Are
gonna
you
file this in
right?
federal
That
court,
was.
and I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask for 300,000. I'm gonna make up numbers.
Hmm.
Plus,
Hmm.
when you sue them in federal court, the feds is not their friends. So the Fed, you can
Hmm.
ask for every day that he been in there. I forgot what the rate is, but let's just say it's $300 a day or $1,000 a day. You'd be like, listen, I want $1,000 a day for every day he in there. And they
Hmm.
knew I was going there. And the family court saw this on my head. They saw he about to go there extreme. I said, I sure am. I'm going down the street
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
I don't do crime, so
Hmm.
I'm not of the false, I'm not of the street understanding, oh, the feds is the bad guys, or the feds. Well, that's if you sell
Hmm.
drugs, I guess. If you don't sell drugs, the feds is your friends.
Yeah. Sure enough,
You know
can be.
why? You know why? No, these is your guys
They
because
informed. They the top.
they're the supervisor for the city and state.
In the state. Hmm.
So the city is always going to give you local racism, the county give you local racism, and the state is going
Hmm.
to give you just slavery. Just point
Yes,
out slavery, just slavery.
that's a
All
fact.
right.
I would like to
If
say what now. I do have a question.
Go ahead.
Magi. Now when children are detained, now because I don't know too much about these little juvenile facilities, are not the officers should not be wearing some type of identifying something, their name, a badge, or something?
Yes.
There's nothing in that facility. Not one person. Not one. Not at the front
Not one
desk.
person got an ID
Not,
on.
not one. And they
So
won't let you bring the phone in so I could take pictures. All they have is a government logo polo. I like the way I said that. A government logo polo. That's what they got.
hey, listen. This is important because when we have to file a federal case, it's going to be embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I
Mm-hmm.
filed in federal court against a housing authority, and I didn't know if I had the expertise to beat up them very expensive lawyers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But I talked like this, how I'm talking, and
Mm-hmm.
I told them in advance. I said the federal government's not going to care about your local racism.
No,
No, they got their
no,
own cronyism. They got their own network.
they sure do.
I told them. Listen. I told them. I said the feds is fighting Russia and the aliens, and they don't really
They
got
ain't got
time for
no
your
time for
local.
this.
No, they ain't got no time for your local racism. Mm-mm.
Facts. That's the
And so
truth.
soon as I went to the court, and they got me, I got in the courtroom. I said, "Man, I
Mm.
don't know if I know enough to beat these guys up, but they were so racist. The feds made them pay me that day. Ain't that deep?
How about that? I love it.
God be the glory. I told you, praise Jesus. Let me tell you something. They ended that court case on a spot. They wanted I sued them people.
Wow.
I didn't have to do day two because they were so racist. And I told the judge, I put it in my claim that they don't like you, federal court, and they don't like me. They don't like no Americans. They over here just railroading people willy-nilly.
That's exactly what they're doing down here, railroading the heck out these kids right on into the prison.
just
We can't
willy-nilly
teach you
with
to go to
no
prison.
standards.
Yeah,
So
none.
that's where we're going to get stay behinds. So I
Mhm.
need you to put down more bullet points like that. That's juicy,
Okay.
because these are
Okay.
keys that get them in trouble. They ain't wearing no
Mhm.
badges, no ID. They ain't even got an ID.
Mm-mm.
No
I don't even know who I
nameplate.
was talking to. It was all I could do was just describe who I was talking to. That's the best I could do.
You
And
see?
I'm the parent going to see the kids, so I don't even know who I talked to.
Oh my
And you
goodness.
pat me down, you search me, everything. I don't even know who patted me down. It was a girl and a dude at the desk on the day of at about so and so time. Like that. Rewind the tape so we can see who it is. It's
Well,
not funny, but it's so bad. I asked them, I said, so y'all not required to wear no badges, no names? How these kids report you if you did something wrong to them?
So if you just tuned in, this is our chaplain's court, our interfaith court, video affidavit, character reference portion for Hassan Williams, the young 16-year-old out of Princess Anne, Maryland Corporation territory, and where they have overly charged this young brother, and we have his mother and family and friends as character references, and we will bottle this up and extract some of the words and the transcripts and everything from this video affidavit and the previous one to be a part of his character reference. We also will ask for his bishop, his coach, his pastor, his imam, whoever's of a professional caliber, to, his therapist, to write a one-page paragraph letter, but we're not going to let them ignore the letter. We're going to get it notarized.
Okay.
So that way they can't ignore the letter.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Gotcha.
It's like
Yeah.
night and day. It's like night and
Yeah,
day.
because when we passed it to him, that's exactly what he did. He read it. Okay. And I was like, okay, so that didn't mean nothing? Yeah. Okay.
Well, affidavits are fact and law. So when you put the
It has to
affidavit
be
in
in
there, they have to enter it. They can't just view it. They got to talk about it and everything.
Okay.
I mean, I messed up myself just 6 months ago, and then I talked to one of the Moors, and he said, "Bro, they ignored you, Marty Chaplin. You've been doing this forever. You know what the problem is." I said, "What?" He said, "You ain't sent him the affidavit." I said, "Oh my God."
You got to seal it. You got to seal it.
I felt like a big dummy. Okay, so we always got to stick to the basics because they want us to do fancy karate and all that, but we don't have to do fancy kung fu. We could do wash on, wash off, and that's the most effective stuff. Okay, so we know that we need the team to be ready to take interviews outside the court, and they don't have to be bothering people, randos. You could just have the same crew, family, and same people on this line. They should be outside the court. And some people that came on and jumped off, about 5 or 7 people, but we still have a lot of people on. But whoever's there, no, you recreate that down there. Outside, have a sister ask his brother on. I mean, they don't know who brothers or sisters. So, ma'am, what do you think about charging children as whatever they come up with, right? Listen, I shut so many court cases down, not with no legal beagle stuff. Just with the fact that they cannot take that many eyes on them. Yes, you have to use your powers and the technology against them. And so I'm only going to mention that one on the line now because I don't want them to, know our strategies. But they can know that.
Right.
We come with the cameras. Whoop-de-doo. But I will tell y'all some other stuff on the phone, and so y'all can get it together. And then we're going to make a complaint on that police officer. We're going to make a complaint. Well, if the public defender doesn't do the right thing, he's going to get worn out, or she going, we're going to dial up the Stargate, so to speak, in order to put all eyes on them. Now, usually when you put all eyes on them, they just want to, oh, you know what? Give him 3 months, 6 months probation. Get him out of here. Bye. Or The state withdraws this case. So whatever way it is, we need them to lay off of it. And who's did we do Audrey already?
Yeah, we did the twins, Audrey and Helena. We grabbed
Okay.
Chauncey and Tashara.
we have Carla Cook and Chucky. Which one would you?
Oh, Aunt Carla. Aunt Carla probably got something crazy to tell you. You could call Aunt Carla.
How you doing there tonight?
You on mute, Auntie. We can't hear you.
Are you there?
I can see you, but
you have to unmute it yourself. You have to click the unmute button. Okay, while she's figuring that out, can you turn it up? Can you hear it?
It's like you far away.
You sound far away.
I'm in New Jersey.
Well, I'm far away too, but yes. I don't even. So, yours. I take it.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, you're a little bit too low. We're going to come right back to you. We're trying to work on that. See if you could take it off speaker, or like I messed up last time. I had my Bluetooth speakers 20 feet away, and the audio was coming through very weak there. I didn't realize it. Yeah. So try to get the volume up. It's Chucky, and who's Chucky?
Who is that? Chuck?
Chuck, are you one of Hassan's friends? You have to unmute yourself. Okay. Well, at any rate, we're going to ask Aunt Carla one more time. But at any rate, we know that we don't want any solicitation. They are soliciting contracts, and they want these contracts to stick. So we have to come out of just being disenfranchised. Because when you're disenfranchised, what you're saying, what it's meaning is you don't have a franchise, you don't have a flag. Because when you refer to yourself outside of your clans, you have families, bands, clans, tribes, and nations. The minute that you cling on and you're like, well, I'm 18 continents, I'm African and I'm American, I'm a color, I'm purple. Hi, I'm a proud Burgundy man. Now they can start to play games when they feel like, oh, you're in a color code caste system. You're black or you're white or you're Hispanic. These are things that are made up. So you really want to go by your tribal names or the biblical versions of your tribal names, like Levi, Reuben, Benjamin, Judah, right? These are the tribes. African Americans are from the tribe of Judah. So we have to begin to, you know how many court cases we done shut down with that? Because it's all good Jewish business now. The Bible is on leading the way. The Bible is there for us. Listen, they bring out a Bible in the courtroom. They bringing out a Bible in the courtroom, Londa,
and don't even know how to use it.
No, that's not the point. No, that's not it. No, you as the on the other side don't know how to use it, or you don't know to use it. What they're doing
now
is
in the court of law. You're right.
What happens is this is their first Masonic clue that they can get over on you. They test you. They say, swear on the Bible. And even if they don't pull it out, they just say you're firm to tell the truth. But the Bible's there. And I know because I've worked in many courtrooms. I've been a judge since 2013. Now they're saying, so you don't realize that Bible, they don't ask you to swear over the United States Constitution, do they? Do they get you to swear over the Maryland Constitution? Okay, over the Beyonce album? Okay. Time magazine? Nothing? Okay. So they get you to swear over the Holy Bible, right? So that's a clue. That's a clue that these are the most important words you could say today.
That makes so much sense. I never even thought about it that way.
Ain't that deep?
That makes so much sense.
That's why we always know who the real Christians is. You know why? Because I only seen real Christians down south. Because everybody else think they real Christian, but they ain't bothered about it like that. Let me tell you something. When you watch Judge Mathis and somebody like that, Judge Joe Brown, I done seen it. A little Miss Mabel come on there and she say, "Hey, Judge Mathis, you know I love you. I watch you every day for 10 years." He say, "Okay." And she say, "But Miss Mabel, why are you suing your grandson for $40? I mean, it seemed to be a good case, so we took it, but that's a little petty for a grandma." And guess what she said? She say, "Your Honor, the Bible say," no, she don't say that. That's what regular people think they're Christian. No. No, the real Christian grandma, she even tell Judge Mathis, "I love you." "Oh, why I do that?" "Oh, because Your Honor, the Bible said," and the Your Honor said, "Oh, you got me, got my attention." That's the law book.
That is very true. And they just used it on the Senate floor. Just what was that? Thursday. They just used it. Jeffries just came out on that floor, and he took the whole Senate with him. Against that big ugly beautiful the big ugly bill. Auntie, I can hear you a little bit. You coming through a little bit. Huh?
I am an Eastern Star in the state of New Jersey, okay? In the state of New Jersey, you have the right to not put your hand on the Bible if you are a Christian or not a Christian. I have seen it done on numerous occasions. My name is Carla Cook, yes. I am from Queens Court, okay? I am 1109, okay? And at the same time, I am Lady Aquila. I am the master of Master Arts, okay? As far as a marshal, all right? So as far as the courts go, they take our young men and they have bids for who stays in jail and who goes home. They have a bid. They bid to keep your kid behind bars. They have bids on these kids. And when they can't win the bid, they sit in a room and they marker as to how much time he gonna get and how much time he ain't gonna get. What they do is they play Russian roulette with our children and their lives. And I think that's sad. That's very sad.
Yes, I would ask you, can you, Aunt Carla, can you hang up and call right back so we can hear you better? Because I want you to continue that, what you're saying, because that's very good, but we only kind of hearing half the sentences.
Yeah, we gotta. I want to hear. I want to be.
I really want to hear what you just said. Yeah, I really do. Try to log off real quick and just click back on it. No, just hang up off of it. Like click the leave button and then let it go off, and then just go back to the link and click it again and come back on. It probably will fix it. I hate that. Golly.
I know, right?
But I heard what she was saying about the Bible part. But no, I was stating the fact. I'm stating the fact that whether you want to swear on the Bible or not, that's TMI. We're not talking about that because we're saying, remember, most of the revolutionaries and all the people who are really surviving and like fighting for their rights in the court system, of course they're going to, they say that, oh, we don't have to swear in the Bible. We know that. That's been like that. No, we bent this on this ear because we're saying what nobody knew. No, use their laws against them. It don't mean you got to be wanting to swear on the Bible because you shouldn't be really swearing. A Christian shouldn't be swearing anyway.
No, you shouldn't. That's
You're not supposed to swear.
When people say, "Oh, my mama, oh, my daddy," like those people.
So you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to just use swearing in that way. So, so that's not the point at all. The point is, if we Masonically understood that Bible is our shield and armor, because they are using it to beat us down. And they give it to you like, here, swear over it. And then now you don't really pin them to the ground with that same scripture. So it's not a fast study. It'll take a while. But I just wanted to give you the clue, Londa, because you're the mom, and I know you got a lot of that. And I said, listen, these are the most important words that you could say today.
Yes.
You see?
Yes.
Is there anybody else that would like to say a word? We had Helena, honest to Shira, Chauncey, the siblings, Audrey, and also I think we had someone else on the line as well. And who is Madge?
Oh, that's the baby sister.
Oh, baby sister. Would you
Yeah,
like to say hi,
she's a nice
Madge?
one.
Is she younger than him?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you don't have to say too much, Madge, but we are happy that you're here in support. And right, and we want you to send the prayers going up, blessings coming down, and keep and you know, we're happy because when two or more are gathered, when the family's in the court, that's what it really takes. So I'm proud of y'all just for for doing and not letting him just sit, without no thoughts and prayers and support on him. And
Yeah.
so we back to Aunt Carla. I would like to hear if hopefully she's better hopefully her system kicked in a little better.
Yeah, I hope so.
There you
Yes.
go.
Yeah, God, see that God I know, he good.
Yes, all the time.
Like
So
I was
okay,
saying,
so now give me a little bit of I'm realizing now that y'all are from New Jerusalem up there, right?
I'm from Heaven's Gate, baby, waiting for him to holler.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying these are technical things. I'm realizing that y'all are from New Jerusalem, like Trenton, New Jersey, so-called New Jersey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we call it New Jerusalem. And so I'm starting to get a clue of the temperature of why Londa is shining so hard up down there. I get it. I mean, she was being a little strange for me as a Marylander. But as more as I talked to her, and then I talked to you, Aunt Carla, today, I was like, oh, I get it. I get it. Because it is most likely more of what I've said earlier before you got on, Aunt Carla. That was Londa's down there being a phenom of an entrepreneur and well-adjusted parent, and whether she likes it or not, that little bit of, you might not, back in Jersey and Philly, that ain't considered being no darn activist or nothing. But down there, you might as well be gosh darn activist, whole activist, just for just being an entrepreneur and busting out the Bluetooth speaker, telling people, good things.
Right.
So that I really am seeing that, and so we really support you because it's just them striving to get at your son because you have the light and you are the light. You see, and you're bringing some awareness and some motherly love and healing down up in that neighborhood. You see, and somebody's targeting you that doesn't, so I get it. And we're going to get on their behinds because they can't be in a facility with not even a name badge or number. They gotta have one or the other or both. The arresting officer is so mysterious. The kidnapping officer, because it ain't a lawful arrest, it's really a kidnapping. Is what I mean. And also, there's another big portion of it where they're charging him as a 16-year-old. They haven't shown the evidence of the camera footage. And one big one is they did not call you, the parent, for the bail trial. They're going to get in trouble. They didn't call you for the bail hearing.
They definitely, and the public defender, and that's on the juvenile side. When I asked, I said, well, why didn't anyone call me? And her response, of course, it ain't recorded, but she was like, oh, well, it just happened so fast. And I'm like, what? And that's when I knew I needed help. Like that, it was so early on, but I didn't know. And I just started picking up my phone, calling everybody. And I finally got to Mark one day, and I was like, Mark, you gotta help, you gotta help, you gotta help. That boy don't need to be there. He don't deserve to be there. He didn't do it. I believe him. I believe him. And he was like, well, let me see what I could do. Let me see who I could find. And he brought me to you.
Well, shoo, thank you, Jesus. I'm telling you, boy, this stuff boils my blood. But the thing is, you are probably the resource down there, and we have to empower you until you decide to move up on out of that area, to be the advocate. Because a lot of times I found that a lot of our members over the years, their harassment by the police, their court cases, everything went down. They left them alone the minute they stopped being a random do-gooder. So what I do is, what I do is I basically help the person. I've been helping you to present your works in a certain way, because I don't care whether you call yourself a Babalawo or a missionary or a saint, whatever it is, you have to take a title when you're that powerful, sister.
That's right. You cannot just let your name be that. Put that title with it. Look, I was listen, I was a hell raiser in them streets, but when it was time to convert, I knew when to become an Eastern Star. I knew when it was time to stand up and fight with my state and my county. And I done been traveled plenty of places. I done seen a lot of things. And that young man, my nephew, he don't deserve what they're putting him through. At the end of the day, this young man is 16 years old, sitting in the jailhouse with grown men. Like, come on, grown men. So in the event that something happens to him, unfortunately, something happened to him, who's going to be held accountable? Who do they hold accountable? Because at the end of the day, they sit down and they play Russian roulette. All right, I got 5 people over here saying 5 years. I got 5 people over here saying, oh, bid him out on parole. Put him out on probation. But then you got that one judge sitting there. He might come in there pissed off for the day because his wife done made him mad, or his colleagues done pissed him off.
And your kid be the one that get it.
They took me out on the kid. And you know how I know? Because I'm living proof. I used to be that kid, okay? I used to be that kid. I used to be that kid. So I know what the system would do to you. I know the system they will draw you in and manipulate you to believe that you're wrong for something you did not do. And that's what this kid is going through. He's sitting behind bars with grown people when he should be out here playing with young boys.
He should. And I didn't even, I want to put this in part of our affidavit and on the record as well. So not long, so he was moved from the adult facility out of a solitary confinement because he couldn't be with the adults in the jail, right? So that was their way of separating him. So then they moved him. He couldn't go to Salisbury to the juvenile because they already tried him as an adult. And they went and picked up the little boy who assaulted the victim with the weapon. They took him straight from his house and put him in juvenile. They claim it's because he's only 15. Okay. So then it was something very important I needed to share with y'all.
The cover up. That was the part called the cover up. They got to cover. They have to go back and cover their ass because first of all, they took a juvenile and they threw him in adult jail, which was that was the first thing they did wrong. That's against the law. And so they made an excuse. They had to find a reason to get him out of that situation. So what they did, they said, oh, we can't send him to Salisbury. Let's send him over here to clear her mind, so to drop the lawsuit. That's what they're doing.
But you know what? But you know what happened? In 2 hours, that boy got down there to Cheltenham, and I don't know what boys it was. They didn't give me much information. But this is what I didn't tell you, Magi. Hassan was injured within like 2 hours of getting down there. And I was getting an emergency call from the nurses station. Oh, your son had to go to the hospital. And I was like, what? What do you mean? Like, Hassan can handle himself. So what I was told was that some kids had jumped him. And then now all of this video evidence that I was talking about, I've been looking for since April. Now, all of a sudden, the new public defender, she saw that video from the actual incident involving the case, as well as she got the video involving the incident in the facility.
Oh, great! So you're finally about to get that? Maybe they didn't give it to you yet. She didn't give it to you yet.
She still didn't give it to me though.
But they switched out a new public defender recently.
Yep, because it went from juvenile to adult. The juvenile public defender didn't do anything. Her whole from April was the April 28th to May. Let me see, April 28th. Then the 29th they had the bail review, and then May 12th they were supposed to have a dismissal of the felony charge. but it never happened. They moved it to the 29th of May, which basically what they did was they stalled because the state didn't file the proper paperwork to keep it in adult court. So then by the 29th, when we went back to court, they had filed it, and that's why I stayed in adult court. But then when like I said, when the public defender told me that she saw the video, she's basically saying that Hassan, this is not his charge. He shouldn't be there. So I don't know. I'm still confused because I don't know nothing about no
Nah,
juvenile
there's
law.
nothing wrong with you. It's nothing wrong with you. That's what they playing big time charades. This is
Okay. Okay.
yeah, ain't nothing wrong with your thinking. Yeah, there ain't nothing wrong with
Okay.
you and your logic. Nope. Mm-mm. They got all kinds of just malarkey and shimmy and just nefarious evil tendencies. So
Yeah.
so one thing, the folks that's on the line now, plus there was 5 others, they stayed on for quite a long time during this call, by the way. So you had a lot of support here. They finally logged off. But just know, we need y'all to download audio recorder on your phone. All of y'all should download an audio recorder, because when you walk up to them people, you can keep your phone. You ain't got to point no camera at them. You just push audio record and say what you got to say and record them audio saying that nonsense. Okay, that's one. 2, download. That was the other. Download the audio recorder, but then there's one more. It's another app you need to download as well. Oh, you need to download, and they got some that are free too, but I pay $1.99 a month for this one, so it ain't nothing. But they got the free ones, but I don't know what you got, Apple or whatever. Download the phone call recorder.
You know what? My phone, Samsung, is so smart. It just upgraded the software, and I actually have audio record on my phone calls. I could just tap the button.
Booyah! That's what I'm trying to told you. Because now, when you do that, you want to run some people off of a case. Oh my God! Start calling. Just start calling with the audio recorder, and don't go off on them. You saw how? Remember, I told you I suckered that prosecutor in, and then I told him no solicitation, and he erased my warrant on the phone because he knew I suckered him. I suckered him in on the conversation so good. He was like, "Oh, he got me."
Gotcha.
So the audio record phone thing is primo. Yes, because you can. Yeah, because we're gonna dial up Stargate, because you're gonna call up other people. Like you're gonna call the court and call the juvenile division. Okay, you're gonna say, "Oh, what's the name of the lady?" And they're gonna say it. You're gonna say, "Oh, she never told me her last name." Well, she's not obligated. She's not obligated to. Well, that's a lie. And you're gonna get them saying all that dumb stuff on the phone. Then you're gonna call up the jail. You're gonna call up the jail tomorrow, and you're gonna say, "Oh, you know what I mean? My son doing all right, and all that." And they gonna say, "Oh, the mom's calling," all that kind of stuff. Let them say that nonsense on the phone calls. Trust me. See, the thing is, the jail time and the warrants and all that, they're using their TMZ style on you, and you don't know it's just witchcraft and mass marketing. So we got Tahuti, we got the ancient messengers. They can't out market. We mastered that first. So we can't be too passive on those things. No, we got propaganda too. So we're gonna TMZ y'all. We're gonna TMZ you. We're gonna run down. We're gonna call y'all. You know, they used to have the jerky boys back in our day. I'm showing my age, but they used to prank call people, remember? But let me tell you something. I calls them up. I mean, we're going to meditate on it, but think about all the people you need to call on Monday. You know, on your way to court, 9 o'clock sharp. When is this court time? Did they say?
At 11 a.m. So what I do, but one thing I do know I need transcripts, because they had way too many hearings, bail reviews without me being there at all.
But you can pull the records of that. That's not an obstacle. You can go to the court and go to the record room and pull it right off.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So that's not difficult, but you need to do it like you said ASAP. But right now, you need to TMZ them. You got to call them up. You got to, you know what I mean? And I myself will be calling the public defender and putting a bug in her ear and letting her know that all eyes around the galaxy are on them. And they always understand when I talk like that because I'm going to ask her, what in the world are they doing down in Princess Anne? And
Yes.
they know when you start talking like that, I'm gonna be saying that. Well, what? I heard you guys are back living in the '60s with y'all legal process. They wouldn't like the way I'm gonna start my thing with them, and it just makes the public defender really do their job. Really, what we're doing is lighting a fire under their behind and make them go in and they're gonna pull the prosecutor and everybody to the side and say, "Yo, they about to lean into us. Yeah, we'll put you right, make you famous. We're gonna make you famous, put you right on the map."
I literally, I've been telling them since they've been doing this with his education. I have not let up on these people, and I made some way. It wasn't nearly as impactful as I wanted it to be, but we definitely made some progress. But that's exactly my mission and my purpose. I gotta get my kid back. He don't belong there, but at the same time,
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
At the same time, it's like I know I put in that, and I asked him because he always was at my house. It was one of Hassan's one of his boys, and I was like, "Why are you not at school?" He was like, "They won't let me go to school." I said, "What do you mean they won't let you go to school?" They said I can't go back, so I speak to my mom, and I was like, "What?" This is the kind of stuff that they get away with. You're giving 16-year-old 30 years. You send it expelling kids. You over suspending them. It's the most. The light
I
need to be shined
also
down here.
I really would need. Do you have the name of that judge?
Yes. Let me see.
Do you have
Hold
his
on.
court papers? You got to put these people name out there. Trust
Yeah.
me.
I know
Trust
one
me.
is Miss Price, but I'm gonna get her full name.
Yeah, we'll wait for a second. Trust me. No, this is the real deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to put their name out there. I remember in New York, they told me that Kings County, New York, was so big and bad, and I know they is because they have all them celebrities in so-called Brooklyn Corporation, and so they come down on hard on people even if they got millions, right? So I said, "Oh, really? Okay." So when I had to deal with Kings County, and then this wasn't for me, I was doing similarly like I am now for a family there. And once I knew the judge's name, they let me actually close the case. I had never had heard of nothing like that before, by the way. Because what I did was I made up an anti-flyer about the judge. I made up anti-flyers. I made up flyers that were posters of that judge and the nefarious things that the judge was doing in the case, Aunt Carla.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
I
Somebody.
done seen judges get fired on the bench right here in New Jersey.
So
Listen, I'm an Eastern
you're
Star.
back.
90% of the people that I know, I'm from Lady Aquila 103. And 90% of the people that I know here in the state of New Jersey are lawyers, judges, doctors. Like, you might find a couple of housewives or something like that there. But when you go in there and they know, I've been in trouble all my life. Listen, and the most time I ever did was 2 years. That was the most. And I did 5.5 years. And with the 5.5 years, I was supposed to do 20 years. I wound up doing 5.5 years, and I came home. I haven't been in trouble in 23 years. Thank God for the Eastern Stars, because that's what saved me from going in and out of getting in trouble. But at the end of the day, it all boils down to who you know. It's who you know. So if you was to know,
are you able, Aunt Carla, to write him a paragraph on paper supporting him?
oh yes, Oh yes.
Because that's the main thing of who you know. Like you said, I have a lot of bishops and a lot of masons and Eastern Stars as my comrades and as my colleagues and as my students in this court, and we worked together for so many years. And I agree wholeheartedly, and that's what I was telling Londa, saying we need the family to do this part, but we need the professionals and those like the bishops and the masons to just write a paragraph and put their Masonic letterhead on that thing and sign and make this
Yeah.
thing go away.
Yep.
Because when they see them, so that's why I would ask you, Aunt Carly, if you could do that tomorrow, even if you just sign it and take a picture of it and send it to Londa, print that bad boy. It ain't got to be, but a paragraph, you know what to say. And boom, get that, put it on your lodge letterhead or whatever letterhead you got, and boop. And even if you ain't got no letterhead, soon as you sign that bad boy, and underneath that it say matron of the lodge or whatever your rank is, they gonna understand.
Yes.
Yeah, even if it ain't got no letterhead, trust me, they gonna understand.
Do you have a live appearance in front of a judge?
Say it again.
Do he have a live appearance in front of the judge?
Okay, so that's another thing. He did not appear the last time in person. He appeared virtually, but then the judge asked, he said, I believe his public defender definitely said, yes, we do. And she kind of looked at me. I was like, absolutely, we want to see him in person. Especially after an incident already occurred. And then the judge ordered him to go into somewhere where he wasn't in gym pop just because he didn't want anything else to happen before court. Don't you know they never moved him?
Wow.
He is still there. He said he's good though.
As long as he's saying he good. Because at the end of the day, when you get on them phone calls, they listen to them phone calls. And the inmate itself knows exactly what to say and what not to say. And being that he's never been to jail before and he's jailing for the first time, somebody's either telling him what to say, or he's smart enough to just remain calm, cool, and collected and not say too much until he see you in person. So when he
And
see you
that's
in
pretty
person,
much what he does.
right, because he understands the assignment he's sitting in. He understands.
Yeah.
If he didn't understand the assignment, I'm telling you from what I know, experience. If he's talking to you and he's like
I think we
mumbling or
lost everybody, Auntie. Yeah, I think we lost. Oh no, we didn't. Oh, we all still here. Okay.
But what they do is they record everything that phone before you pick up when you pick up that phone, the dollar numbers that they already on that phone. The minute you pick that phone up, they start recording. They record.
You know what's crazy? Every recording that they get from Hassan, they're gonna hear him saying, "Ma, I didn't do it. Ma, I'm telling you, I didn't touch that. Ma, I didn't never touch it. All they gotta do is dust it for fingerprints. My fingerprints not on it. Ma, did they?" And he really was trying to play it cool at first. He was like, "All I know is that I didn't do it. So tell him to go look at where the video at." And he was actually asking for it before I was. Where's the video at? Because clearly I didn't do it, and that's all he said. But he wasn't gonna tell on anybody else, right? And I believed him. I definitely, I still do. And then hearing the feedback come from the neighborhood, because the other young man definitely was on the bus that day and basically insinuated or stated Hassan shouldn't have got locked up. It should have been me. But of course, kids didn't record that. I only got Mallory's word that that's what the little boy said. But
didn't they get that boy? Didn't they get the actual boy that did it though?
They don't believe he did it.
Because they're too busy playing. They're too busy playing Russian roulette.
Boy.
Out of all
they
those kids,
they just want boy. They do not like him down here.
Right. Out of all those kids, boy, it's probably the biggest one out of all of them. So their mind is already made up. Their mind was made up the minute they picked him up. Their mind was made up. So what our job is to do, our job is to change their damn mind. You got to
There you
change their
go.
damn mind. You got to change their damn mind because they're playing fucking Russian roulette. If the gun was in your hand, you go to jail. But if it's in the judge's hand, you go to fuck what? What happened? You go to hell. The judge got to say that public defender don't have a. He just talking. He just saying what he getting paid to say. But at the end of the day, they all sit in the room. They all sit in the room and they figure out who's gonna.
I've seen them do it. That's why I don't trust them.
I know for a fact it was done to me, so I know for a fact. You got to know that you know what you know. Like I said, when you go to see your son, talk to your son. Don't listen. Don't be looking around the room because they're recording you anyway. Talk to your son. Let your son tell you what's going on. They're not going to let you bring your phone.
That was the other thing. When I went to go see Hassan, they set us so close to whoever the monitor. I don't know what they call them in there because I can't call them CEOs. They don't got no badge, no numbers, no name, no. I don't even know if they're real employees or not, to be honest.
But they like mercenaries, basically.
Listen,
which is crazy.
Shalonda, the same way you walk in that door and you can't take pictures of them, when you come outside of that door, listen, they don't live there. They work there.
True.
The same way you walk in there, they got to come out. So you got the right to turn your camera on and start recording. You can record them. It's nothing they could do because you're on the outside of that system. You sit outside for a minute or two, you record them. And this what you go back to Judge Warner. Why is it that he works in a juvenile system and he has no uniform on? He has no kind of marking to show me that he's who he is. So how do I know my son is in the right place? How do I know my son in the right place? I don't.
True.
Yep. And that's why I was saying that earlier in the call. On Carl, I told him the same thing. I said, y'all got to be prepared with one or two of y'all outside that courtroom doing interviews, doing ambush journalism, doing TMZ and all as we calling it, for lack of better words. I've shut down many a case like that, and I ain't had to say nothing in the courtroom because I hit them so hard outside the courtroom.
I'm gonna tell you another thing they do. I'm gonna tell you another thing. The state and the county, they conspire together. The prosecutors, they sit together. They go to lunch together. They sit down.
That's why I don't trust them Bamas. I'm telling you, I watched them from juvenile court in April 28th, and it is now July. There's no way and no rhyme or reason why this didn't get stopped in the early stages. Then one of the public defenders, the first one on the juvenile side, Catherine Savoy didn't do nothing. Go and tell me, oh, well, sometimes we don't get the discovery till the day of court. What?
That's bull crap.
That don't even make sense. So how you gonna have a decent defense if you just got the package?
You get the discovery 72 hours after arrest. After the arrest, they get the paperwork 72 hours after his arrest.
I know what that lady told me.
But they're not gonna tell you that
she wouldn't answer my calls.
She lying. Yep.
Maji, I'm telling you, we could pull my phone records. Look how many times I called the facility, the Somerset County Public Defender's Office, and who else would I call it? And the school. The school did not call me back till 6:15 that day. I didn't talk to nobody in the Public Defender's Office until the next day after the bail hearing. That
is so criminal, by the way. These are good points to get them on right there. That bail and those nameplates and that lack of ID and all that. And they run into some kind of like private gosh thing, kidnapping ring. What the heck is going on?
So he probably got a bail?
No, he didn't. They never gave him a bail. And the last
never
time
told her about the hearing.
Nope, never was told about the hearing, the bail, nothing. I didn't get invited to nothing. The only reason why I started getting invites to court was because somewhere in between the 12th and the 29th, there was a secret hearing that I definitely didn't know about. And the judge in that hearing said, I think it's the same guy, what did I tell you his name, Daniel something? He said that he was considering electronic monitoring, but even if he was going to consider that the parent or guardian should be there. Well, when we pulled up again, I had a whole pew of people. So that lets you know that if you didn't get that response in all the first hearings, then I clearly didn't know about it. And so then that's when he said what he said, because of the proximity to the victim. And I'm like, yeah, but there's different type of monitoring. So that was bull too, because you could have put him on, you can't leave the house, period. But whatever many times you could have made your own stipulations as far as electronic monitoring. I'm not sure how they pulled that one off, but of course,
Because once again, it's called Russian roulette. They're playing with your kid's life. He's not getting an education, first of all, because he's in a youth detention center. All right, at the end of the day, if you're going to lock a kid up, you cannot take no kid left behind. Ain't that what the government say? No kid
they
left
weren't
behind.
educating the poor
So
child
why
in the
is he
first
not still
place.
getting the education? Why is he not still getting the education if there's no
He
kid
wasn't
left
getting
behind?
one in the first time, Auntie.
Say it
But he
again.
was enrolled in school.
I said Somerset County failed to provide a decent and what's the word that I'm looking for? They failed to provide the level of education that was required just by his IEP, and that I can definitely prove because we done been to Disability Rights
So
Maryland has all that.
basically, what you need is you need to go to the court or find a lawyer that's pro bono, that works free or for a small fee
And ain't none of
to
them
help
out here. I
you.
gotta really dig for them. Like somebody really gonna have to point me into one that practices here because there are none. Everybody that's here that's pro bono, they work for them people. I don't trust none
See?
of them.
So we're going to get
They
ready
all
for
work for them.
Monday because right now what happens is when you take on a little small portion of the responsibility, you have enough for each one to do, everybody just to do a little thing that doesn't burden them, right? And
Right.
trust me, just have a little faith because y'all have enough people, right, to be impactful, right? And we're going to assist you from over here as well. So you're not going to just be by yourself. But
Mhm.
but that's what it is. You have to. You in the meantime, this is going to be something that the young people can sink their teeth into because everybody knows they could be next. And
Mhm.
and once they get a little taste of their power by participating and helping their brother, sister, their brother, and their friend Hassan, then Lord willing, that's basically what they need to pull to like so that this won't happen any further to the other siblings or anybody. But you're
Right.
not going to be a random do-gooder anymore. We're going to help you choose your title. You see,
Mhm.
and the minute you listen, we had a sister in San Francisco. They've given her son murder charges. She had twins, and
Mhm.
she brought them back her ministry card, and it was all done. And they said, oh. Because what happens is, as a random do-gooder, they're ignorant people and they're robotic. The
Mhm.
Europeans are like robots. They're like drones. So they can't
Mhm.
only process certain things. If you don't got no title on your name, they don't understand why you talking so dang clear. Like you
Right.
can't even tell. You like, I went to school, but they don't receive it that way. You talking King's English and you got a business and you're an insurance lady, but then you running
Right.
around banging on the PTA meeting board. I want my child. You acting like a European soccer mom out there. I want my child. So
Uh-huh.
then, but now you ain't throw no title on there to protect yourself. Trust me. The minute I
Got
gave them,
you.
listen, some of them families came from Asbury Park, New Jersey, and they was out there in
Okay.
Orlando, and they was giving them the business out there at Orlando, Palm Beach area, something like that. And
Mhm.
soon as they told them their ministers or whatever that title was, that
Mhm.
the cops, everybody stopped messing with them because now their stupidity and their ignorance and their solicitation, they realize, oh, this is why this person does like that. So
Mhm.
I need to talk to you more intricately offline
Okay.
tomorrow to give
Okay.
you some other things. But this has been great. Y'all have enough folks to do it. Download the audio app and download the phone app for those who don't have the phone recorder app, and get the call at 9 a.m. in the morning. Trust me. Start calling. Okay. The minute they lock up a brother, and this happened a month ago, by the way, too. And we all started calling. Okay. I'm talking
Mhm.
about 10 of us calling every day.
Mhm.
Then they want to kick him out the jail because that's real justice now. It's the same. You watched the Malcolm X movie. They went down there with 1,000 people and they said, we want him
They
out. They
did.
ain't talking about no
Yeah.
court. They just let him out the
Right.
jail, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So we just doing it in the technological sense. Once I'm gonna be calling on Monday morning. You can have Aunt Carla calling, and you could be calling. Oh my God,
Mhm.
they can't deal with that because I'm gonna be calling with a certain temperature. Aunt Carla gonna call
Mhm.
with a whole nother temperature, and you gonna
You
call with
know
a
I'm
whole
calling
other
with the
temperature.
temperature.
And that's sensory overload.
And then you
Yeah.
give me the number. You give me the number. I call some of my sisters and some of my brothers and explain to them what's going on. And hey, they pastors, they lawyers, they doctors, they judges. I know a couple judges here I can go holler at to see if they could throw a line out there for me.
Uh-huh.
There
Fishing.
you go.
We need
Sometimes
everybody.
you gotta go fishing. Just like they
Yeah.
sit and play Russian roulette. Sometimes you gotta go
Mhm.
fishing on their ass. Fish on
There you
their
Mhm.
ass.
go.
Ask the
I
question.
like your
Ask the
style.
question that you ask the question that they don't want to hear.
There you go.
If it was your
But you
kid,
gotta
if it was your
warn them.
You
kid, how
know
would
it.
you sleep at night? That's what you got to answer. If it was your kid, how you sleep at night knowing your kid?
Mhm.
That's my kid in
Mhm.
jail. And it could have
And
been your
like
kid.
Elle said, and that's exactly what they made me feel like. I said, wait a minute, this is whole life kidnapping. How did you just come and kid my kid? And I like literally, honestly, till this day, technically, I still don't know where my kid is. Should I have just put out a missing person report?
Now you
Exactly.
talking. Yes, this is why. Listen, you know what I do? If the cops come to my door right now, guess what I do? Call the
Hmm.
cops on them.
Know what?
Yeah.
I thought I was the
Nowadays
only.
you have
I thought
to.
I was the only one to do that. I thought I was the only one to do that. I do. I call the police when the cops come knock
On
on
the
my door.
police.
I
Because
say,
I don't know
"Excuse
if
me,
you
hold
real or
on a
not.
minute." I call the police and ask them, "What's your emergency at my house?" Because I did not
Uh-huh.
call you. I ain't call y'all.
Yeah.
Why y'all knocking on
Yeah,
my door?
but I do what when I call them, I I go I go totally Karen on them. Okay, I go totally scary Karen on them because I call and
Mhm.
listen, I say no. There's people at the door trying to rob me and they banging on my window with guns, and they say what? And they say who is it? I don't know. I'm not looking out the window. See, that's how you do them.
Yeah, that's what
Mhm.
Because if you say that you know it's the cops, then they say, "Oh, you know it's the cops." Then let it. And they hang up on you.
You let
I
them
say, "No,
in.
I don't know who it is." And guess what they do every time?
Mhm.
Tell them cops to go away.
right.
Mm.
So
Mm.
what? But I'm only mentioning something that Carla was saying. I'm only kind of embellishing a little bit because she said something I was kind of like adding on to. But yeah, you go back to that sentence you had said. What made me say that? That was very powerful. You were saying you're going to call them up. Um, asking them the questions they're not uncomfortable with. We're going to be
Mhm.
audio recording them on Monday before the case, and then that's what's going to make them scramble. They'll handle it from there. Once
Mhm.
they know that we ain't, because once your emotional energy, and we got enough of us present to be fortified. Once our energy is we got time today, that's
Mhm.
that's where we have to be at. And that's what make I got time today.
Got you.
We can do this
Mhm.
every day. I'm gonna have 20 people calling
All
y'all.
day.
Listen, we
Yeah.
gonna call all day. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
but oh no, you know what it was, Londa? I like that you had that epiphany, and I've been trying to work with you. I've been striving to get you to that basic level thinking. And so I know that you're there because you said something and I didn't have to coach you into it. You
What?
said it. You said the
What?
mentality is perfect. You said,
Oh.
should I have put in a missing persons report? Now you're talking.
Uh-huh.
Now we can't go in the
Yeah.
past and do that, but I know now you got to stay there with your mind. That's
Okay.
why you got to think. You got to think as if they're nobody to you. So let all your common sense questions and logic kick in.
Mhm.
Because as long
Mhm.
as you're thinking that they're police officers, which they're not, they're only
Mhm.
civil servants. They're not police officers. They don't
Mhm.
take an oath of office. So they're really civil servants and citizens on patrol. And so,
Mhm.
but it'll help you with the rest of this because yeah, don't make no assumptions and don't make no prejudiced thoughts or prejudgments. Whatever they say, just say what and just say what, like you said. I don't understand how that makes sense, and just allow your logic to corner them. Don't think of them as any kind of official, and you'll naturally do it like you just did. You
Mm,
naturally just did that. So
mm,
yes, that's it right there in a snapshot. And you have to keep going down that line. Hey, shouldn't I call the inspector general so he can investigate? Like, because see, the inspector general ain't quite the same as internal affairs. Internal affairs just work for the cops
mhm.
to let
You
people
write a
go.
letter. You write a letter to the Attorney General's office for a
There you
16-year-old
go.
behind bars. Honey, who? Will it fly some
No,
knots?
not this. No. Well, okay, so it's
The attorney general for the state she's talking about of Maryland.
right.
They're
Okay, now
compelled to do
that I might
something.
get somewhere because the Attorney General for the state, I actually know who that is,
That's what
and
we
we have
talking
a
about.
new
That's only
executive.
one attorney
I
general.
got a
That's what
couple.
she's talking about.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. See, now this is the juice. Now we're getting somewhere.
Mm,
Gotta write the
okay,
Attorney General. If you
Gotta
write
all
the,
write
right.
that letter tomorrow.
the
Gotta write
mayor,
that
Mm,
letter
the
tomorrow.
governor, you gotta write everybody in high places. If you can get a lawyer, like I'll call around, I'll look it up tomorrow and see what
Yeah.
lawyers pro bono in your state. You just gotta
Or
text me the counties in your, like the county within your state. Like where you
okay.
stay at in your county, what's the county
Mm,
where you stay at, and then the counties around you within I
okay.
think I think it's
Like
like,
3 or 4.
yeah, I think they say
That's the
it's
law.
within a 500 yard radius of the county you stay in. The
Okay.
no, it don't
jurisdiction
matter. As
of the,
long as they're licensed to practice law in Maryland, it doesn't matter.
right.
Okay. Yeah. I bet
But
that's
So
it,
what
I
a
thought
long
happens is
time ago.
sometimes
but I
you
thought
might
it
have
had to be
friends.
within the jurisdiction.
No,
Mm,
no. You might have a friend, and Carla, that basically they'll tell you, oh, one of my buddies, he practices law in New Jersey, but he got a law license in Maryland. We'll take it.
Right.
So as long as it's
mhm.
yeah, so it'd be like that. So when she asks around, it could come easily. It could it could possibly come up that way. She go, what? I'm licensed to practice in Maryland because I'm licensed to practice in the whole little Northeast area. I'm good.
Mhm.
So long as they're licensed to practice in Maryland at all, they could take the case even if they're not normally doing business there.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
tomorrow you got to write that letter. We're going to send the same letter to the attorney general, the mayor. We're going to CC everybody.
Right.
Mhm.
Carbon
Yes.
copy. We're going to carbon copy
Yes.
everybody.
Yes.
Go on Google and look for their emails because their emails will
Mhm.
9 out of 10 pop up on LinkedIn. Once
Right.
you got their
Right.
email address, it's vicious because they're legally bound
I'm
by
on it.
emails now.
I'm on it. As well as Alicia, Brave Boy, Angie, also Brooks. Yeah, I got a couple of people on my little list. I'm just trying to comprise the email in a way where it explains or dictates, like just give them a synopsis of what's going on and why I'm emailing them.
I'll help you with the email. You just write the letter statement. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
I'll
All
help
right.
you with the blurb. I'll help you with the blurb that goes in the paragraph. You
Okay.
just do the letter part, put your foot in it, so to speak, and I'll do the blurb that goes to them, and you can send it off to them.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna wrap this up. It's
Okay.
around midnight. I
Okay.
appreciate you and Carla Cook for coming on with your light and with your love and with your sword out.
Always.
You
I'm
know,
trying to get
yeah,
my brother out of the dark, get my nephew
yeah,
out of the dark,
there
put
you
him back in
go.
the light.
Yes, and
Don't no black
we'll end
man,
this.
don't no black man need to be behind bars. That's some damn white man shit. We've been enslaved to them for a long time. Put their ass behind that wall. Put
Say it
their ass.
again.
Put their damn kids behind the walls.
There you
Y'all want to
go.
enslave? They want to enslave somebody. Put their own damn kids behind the wall. They the one doing all the shit. How we know your damn? How we know they son ain't do the shit?
The mass shootings, the bombings. Never mind.
And they keep giving Slim Shady a slap on the wrist for that nonsense, and they doing terrorism out there officially. Is Tamaj on the line, and does he want to say anything before we wrap up? And if Tamaj, let us know before we wrap up. All right. Well, if that's not it, I thank you all. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you again in happiness and in thanks and in gracious gratitude for your abundance and your providence and your protection and for you mercy in our lives. And may you and will you and we beseech thee to help us to help Hassan and being released. And we know, Lord, that you had the power to just release them on your own terms without nobody's worry. And we know that the biggest things for us are the lightest things for you, Lord. And we know and we trust that you will guide us and keep us on the path to glorify your name and to walk the path in light and to shed the light and love wherever we may go. And may you punish those who are trying to stop us from glorifying your name and for keeping our families together. All right. And yes, and in the name of Jesus, Emmanuel, amen.
Amen.
All right. And then to conclude this meeting of our chaplain's court, and much love to you all. And until next time, and I'll call you tomorrow. All right.
Blessings, everybody. Love you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye, y'all.
guys.
See you,
Bye.
queens.
See ya.